Good afternoon, aviators. I'm Jarrett.
And I'm Aiden.
And these are your afternoon announcements. On Thursday, March 24th, the Career Tech programs at Alliance High School will be hosting an open house day from 6 to 7 p.m. This is a great opportunity for anyone interested in future Career Tech programs or just interested in it. You can meet with the instructors, tour their classrooms, and ask any questions you may have. And best of all, pizza and water will be provided for all who attend.
On Wednesday, March 16th, the Winter Sports Awards will be held in the auditorium to highlight the many successes of the winter sports athletes and programs as we shift into the sports season.
The end of the third quarter is ending on Friday, March 18th. If you have any missing assignments or problems with your grades, make sure you get them in before then. Teachers will be submitting grades early next week.
Lunch and Learn is a new lunch program in the Learning Commons. Ms. Kinzer will be hosting various sessions where students can learn about things happening in the community. The most recent one was about the Carnation Queen pageant. The pageant is taking applicants through the month of March. If you're interested in attending one of these luncheons, watch for more info on what the next session will be about.
The new musical coming to Alliance High School is The Lion King. It will be taking place from March 31st to April 2nd. Tickets will be available soon.
Today was the first day for shopping for prom dresses at Project Prom in the Auto Body Room. Next Friday during academic coaching will be the next time you can shop for the dresses. We'll have more on that next week.
Seniors, if you are 17 years old and are eligible to serve as a student poll worker the May 3rd primary election through Stark County Student Poll Worker Program, you'll be paid $20 for a 2-hour training session that you must complete before Election Day. You will then be paid $125 for your work during the entire day on May 3rd. Note that this program does not apply to seniors that are currently 18 or will turn 18 on or before May 3rd.
Media Arts senior Jared Spurlock is covering the brand new Flash trailer on his newest episode of The Director's Cut. Here it is.
Hello, and welcome back to this edition of The Director's Cut. For this week, I have a trailer for the new Flash movie that's supposedly supposed to come out this year, but you never know due to Corona. So let's take a look.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere you want, right? Any timeline, any universe. Why do you want to stay and fight to save this one? You changed the future. And you changed the past.
Are you in?
The new Flash movie starring Ezra Miller as The Flash is a solo movie which will break DC's multiverse and merge them together. In this trailer, there's multiple hints and foreshadowing that will lead to the breaking of the multiverse, including Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman in this movie. As you could tell from the costume in the Batmobile, which is covered up, which clearly looks like his. You can also see behind Ezra Miller's Flash, you can also see another version of the Flash played by Ezra Miller and Supergirl to the right of him. This movie will honestly be kind of crazy if I'm going to be honest. This year is just filled with movies that want to break their version of the multiverse, which will be next week's review. Overall, I give this trailer a 5 out of 10, only because I personally don't like the Flash suit. I know they were trying to go for comic accuracy, but it just doesn't work well with this film. And plus, I'm not very hyped, if I'm going to be honest. Well, that's all I have for this edition of The Director's Cut. Tune into next week's announcements for when I review the new Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer. Enjoy the news. Now it's time for the next installment of the Athlete Interview. This time, we have Thomas Simmons from AHS Wrestling.
Hello and welcome back to Athlete of the Week. Today I'm with Thomas Simmons.
You know, in the wrestling room, we have our banners in there, and, you know, we have the sectional champions, the district champions, the state qualifiers, and players. And ever since I was a kid, you know, I always looked up at those banners during practice for motivation to now know that I'm going to be able to have my name on there not only once, but twice. It was a big feat for me. It was one of my big goals ever since I started wrestling, so it feels really good.
Was there somebody who inspired you to get into wrestling?
This was during the time that WWE was a thing. You know, I was like, cool, you know, I'm going to go around and be like, you know, the next John Cena or whatever. And obviously, it's not what we do. But I started doing wrestling, and it kind of ended up just being, you know, it gave me something to do during the winter. It was a good little emotional outlet that I had, and I ended up making a lot of good relationships, met a lot of people I really liked throughout the years, made a lot of good friendships and connections. My youth coach, Bill Nagy, was a really big inspiration on my life. Of course, he ended up passing away a couple years back, and he's always been a really big inspiration for me. Somebody that he taught me a lot of life lessons that still stick with me to this day. So somebody that I really look up to even to this day.
What makes you enjoy wrestling?
One thing that I really like about wrestling is, of course, end goal, it is an individual sport. You know, I can make it to states by myself, but I also want the team to win. You know, it teaches camaraderie like no other sport does. You get really close to your teammates, you know, you're pushing through these really hard practices together. You're all going through hardship and working really hard to try to achieve your goals. It's like, even though your end goal is for the individual and you're driving for yourself, it's the fact that you make those close relationships and you get to bond with your teammates like you wouldn't in any other sport. So it's one thing I really, really enjoy about it.
And now, after high school, do you plan on wrestling in the future?
Yeah, I plan on taking my wrestling career into college. Once I'm really looking at, I've really narrowed down my choices to a couple schools. I mean, obviously, I got to take the financials and the academics into account, but I'm planning on committing to a college for wrestling sometime after the season.
What are some top colleges that you're just, trying to choose from?
Right now, it's mostly between University of Findlay here in Ohio and then Siena Heights in Michigan. Siena Heights, I know, is a really good choice for me because obviously Mallory, who's our girls state champion on the team already, she's already committed there. So not only is it a good school for me, I get the chance to wrestle there, but I also get the chance to continue my career with Mallory, who I've wrestled with since, I was, 10 years old. So it'd be pretty cool to, be able to stay together and go there, have someone common that I know there, and also not be super far away from home.
Mm-hmm. So now, after college, what are you looking forward to do, as a career option?
I'm going to college for pre-physical therapy, so I'll graduate with a bachelor's in physical therapy, be a PTA straight out of college, physical therapist assistant, and then I plan on working for a couple years just to make sure I'm financially stable and, just kind of get my life in order, and then I'm going to end up going back to get my doctorate and be a doctor of physical therapy.
All right. Now, let's say there's a middle school student who's thinking of wanting to do wrestling. What advice would you give to them?
Somebody first going in, the first thing I usually tell them is it's very, very hard. Your first couple practices as a wrestler, it sucks. The conditioning's hard. The running's hard. A lot of things are pretty hard to understand. The point system doesn't make sense to some people, the scoring and all that. I just say it's a hard sport. but the hard work will always be worth it. You know, it's kind of like the same as any other sport. You get out of a really hard practice, you're tired, you're upset, you're angry, you know, you don't want to, I don't want to do this anymore, this is too much, whatever. But once you get into that, once you get into the competitions and, you know, you're in shape and you're pushing and you start winning and you start doing really good, that hard work starts to feel worth it. You know, you get in better shape, your body feels better. I think it makes you stronger mentally. So one thing that I always say for somebody that's just starting wrestling is, you know, it's a lot of hard work. You know, you got to push. Your body's going to be pushed past limits you never thought you'd reach before, but it ends up being well worth it in the end once you feel a lot better with yourself.
Is there a specific person that you think we should interview next?
I think that one person on the team that I've come to gain a lot of respect for since he got into high school was Aiden Mazen. It's another kid that I wrestled with since I was, you know, since we were in youth. We both started pretty much as early as we could in the wrestling community, and you know, he's only a sophomore. He's climbed up, you know, the Boro fan rankings, made himself ranked in the state, gotten his name out there. He ended up with some pretty bad luck in the brackets at districts, had a lot of good kids on his side, wasn't able to make it to states, but he did qualify as an alternate. And there was actually one kid in his districts, and you know, he possibly could have got injured, you know. Hopefully not. Of course, we never want to see anybody injured, but for him to have that opportunity to, you know, take over that kid's position in the bracket, it'd be a great thing for him, you know, being only a sophomore, to be able to qualify for the state tournament in that way. So I think he definitely, you know, he works hard. He deserves what he's gotten. I definitely think, especially in the next 2 years, being able to work even more, he's going to be very successful. He's going to be a really good wrestler.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me once again.
And thank you for tuning into channel 1022 for Athlete of the Week. And now for Music Daily, Ryan's weekly entertainment show.
Welcome to Music Daily. I finally got an editor. Put up a picture of yourself, editor. Oh, that's great. Now put up a hot photo of me. This week's Music Daily is focused on the album Park Life by the British band Blur. Put the photos up, editor. Right here. Cool. Now put up another photo. Man, I look good. Blur's only real exposure in the United States was through their song, Song 2. That's the song where the most memorable part about it is woo-hoo, with a lot more enthusiasm. The frontman of Blur, Damon Albarn, may also be better known in the US as a co-founder and main songwriter of the virtual band Gorillaz. This album was released in 1994 and is widely considered one of the defining moments of Britpop, which is like the polar opposite of the American genre grunge, which was popularized by bands like Nirvana. Another defining album of Britpop is Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory, which is famous for songs like Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova. Fun fact, that same album is one of the best-selling albums of all time. Another fun fact, Oasis and Blur were actually rivals and both spearheaded the Britpop movement. Which one do I like more? Blur, not even close. But now, it's time to talk about the album. Park Life is, for better or worse, British. What do I mean by British? Well, I have two explanations. One, if you ever heard the band The Clash, even just one song by them, that is what I mean by British, and this is on like the same exact level. And two, if you haven't heard of The Clash, think of country music for the US. We're all familiar with it, but if a British person hears it, they may be completely befuddled by it, and this is the same exact feeling. But that's not bad. Actually, it adds a lot of charm to this album. You can't really take any song seriously, and speaking of the songs, they're some of the most prevalent earworms I've ever heard. The title track itself has been stuck in my head for the entire week, and it's not going anytime soon. Other songs, like Girls and Boys, are also extremely memorable. Now, to be honest, this album had to grow on me at first, but now that I have listened to it over, I really do enjoy it. If you don't like this album at first, I suggest another listen and see if anything has changed. Park Life gets the third ever 10 out of 10 on Music Daily. Editor, I need about 10,000 Vine booms, 5 10s along the side here, and multiple shocked emojis over here. Also, put the hot photo of me back up, stretch it across the screen just like this, but under the emojis and the numbers. Now fade out very slowly.
And now, for this week's Reppin That A, hosted by Miss Woodford.
Good afternoon, aviators. Welcome back to Reppin That A, where we have some awesome students from Alliance High School who are caught reppin' that A. Let's see who we have today. First up, we have Ethan Natale, who is a caring citizen. He was nominated by Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Stanley, two of our custodians. Ethan volunteered his time to help the day shift custodial staff lift and deliver heavy bags of salt in preparation for one of the winter storms. Thanks for doing that. Let's see who we have next. Up next, come on guys. We have Valencia Davis, who's not here. We have Stephen Gales and Jessica Myers, who are seniors, and Gabby Hill, who's a junior. Thanks for joining us. They are courageous risk takers, and they were nominated by me. These members of the 99th Squadron stepped up and took a leadership role as they led our annual Pathfinder Assembly this year. They met with me and put in extra time and practice to make this a great event. I am very proud that we were able to have a student-led event that showed off the wonderful capabilities of our students while honoring an alumni and Pathfinder. Way to be courageous risk takers, guys. I really appreciate you. All right. That's Reppin That A for this week. I want to give one more shout out. You might know that I am wearing an Alliance Career Tech t-shirt today, and I want to give a shout out to our wonderful media arts kids who help put this show out every week. Thank you, guys. Tune in next week to see who gets nominated. Thanks for watching, and remember to rep that A.
Thank you for watching. I'm Jarrett.
And I'm Aiden.
And we hope you have a great day.